Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live watch along, if you will, for the Ryan Montgomery announcement special. We didn't really come up with a title, as you can tell. We were just kind of trying to throw this together last minute because I was having a Rodecaster microphone issue, so I'm a little late. It's my apologies here. When you unplug stuff, it helps to plug it back in. So Georgia is now watching to see if Ryan Montgomery, the four-star quarterback out of Ohio, where's he from in Ohio?
Findlay, Ohio. Same high school as Ben Roethlisberger.
Findlay, Ohio. 10.5 hours from here. I did check to see if we're going to drive up there. Decided against it. But anyway, my name is Ryan Montgomery. I'm joined by Jed May and Lance McCurley. We are glad that you are joining us. Leave us a comment if you would. Sorry for the late. You see Larry's here. Charles is here. Stick D's is here. He's supposed to announce at 3 o'clock. So we should know something right at, well, I say right at 3. The ceremony could start at 3. He could put out something at 3. We don't know. We hope it's not a.
I am absolutely melting down.
It's so hot.
You are too?
So obviously we have a live stream somewhere in the background. So Jed's watching that.
Yeah, Rowdy, I'm going to text it to you and see if we can put it on.
Yeah, if you text it, then we can stick it in the corner there, and everybody can watch it with us.
Something we can do. I just texted it to you.
Awesome. Let's see if I can add this here.
This is very, very organized, as you all can see.
All right. So, hey, guys, tell me give me a rundown, if you will, of where he is, who are his finalists, who's he going to decide from, and what are we expecting today?
Yeah, it's Georgia, Florida, South Carolina. Those three have kind of been the three main contenders for, I would say, a couple months now. And, Trent mentioned this on Rumors versus Facts the other night. His recruitment has been going for a while, and Georgia has kind of always been in the running. Like Ohio State was in it for a while. Penn State was in it for a while. You had other, kind of Midwestern schools kind of in it, and Georgia's kind of always been one constant. So I'm expecting him to choose Georgia today.
Hello.
Oh, God. You guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, we're back. I don't know what the last thing I heard was, but I'm expecting it to be Georgia today. They've kind of been in this for a while. They've got a great relationship with him dating back to the Todd Monken era. And, I think he's going to be a Bulldog here in, 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Back to real life issues. Who just said, who are the schools in the running? Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. In case you missed that, we've been talking about on Rumors versus Facts, I think for a while, just about Ryan Montgomery, Matt Zollers, and Juju Lewis. And those are obviously top three. But it seems like that Montgomery's been to Georgia a lot. He's developed that relationship. And, like Roddy's mentioned before, Findlay, Ohio isn't really close to Athens, Georgia at all. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that Ryan's and his family have kind of popped into Athens a lot over, at least since I've been working with y'all since August. It's only a handful of times. But still, that's a flight and money to spend to come down here. And I feel like he's probably wanted to commit for a while. Georgia obviously is still, I think, going to actively pursue Juju Lewis. But it seems like that he's wanted to, be a Bulldog for a while. We just don't know, kind of behind the scenes whether they gave him the green light, whether, they told him to hold off. And, now recently it seems like, have they given him the green light? Have they, just kind of just said, hey, we don't want to lose our quarterback in this class?
Yeah,
especially
they need
after Matt Zollers.
They need a scholarship commitment in this class for sure, no matter who it is. And Montgomery, again, it's not like this guy is like, well, we'll just bring in a warm body. Like Ryan Montgomery is a very good football player. He's very accurate. He's athletic. He plays basketball at Findlay as well. And he has a good work ethic. And again, we mentioned this on Rumors versus Facts the other night, but for people who missed it, he is a guy who I think will be or is fine with the idea.
Yeah. How much will this commit shake up Georgia's quarterback room? I don't think it shakes it up because he's not ahead of he's not going to come in till next year. Does he take over Gunnar Stockton's spot? No. Does he take over? Does he knock out Ryan Puglisi? I mean, it'll be a battle, for that number 2 spot. I don't think it shakes it up. It's just you need that next quarterback. And Kirby's already said, hey, we don't, you saw what happened with Ryan Puglisi being out for the G-Day. You had to have your number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks go all 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you brought in Colin Drake. He did some work, but it's a lot of stress. And, you're running 2 spots in practice. You got to have more than, 4 guys. So you're going to have 4 quarterback guys, 4 scholarship guys, plus some good walk-ons. So you got to have 4 QBs. I mean, you only had 3. 1 got injured. You were down to 2 guys. And then Tate Ratledge rolls into your starting quarterback. You could have finished the day with just 1.
Yeah. And, to the question over here from Stick Tees about what Georgia's getting. Again, I think he's a guy who is – I don't know that he's spectacular at any necessarily one thing, but he's good arm. He's very accuracy is probably one of the best things he's got going for him. He's a good runner. Again, he's probably more of the Carson Beck level athlete than a Stetson, than a Gunner, than a Brock Vandegrift. But he can make plays if he needs to. He can extend plays. He can scramble for first downs. Carson Beck had the patented 1 a game, 3rd and 6 scramble for a first down last year. Ryan Montgomery can do that. So Georgia wouldn't pursue a guy, I think, at this point in Kirby Smart's tenure if they didn't feel comfortable with having a decent athlete at quarterback. So he's got that going for him. He's got a good work ethic, and he's ready to again, I don't think he will be the type to come in and be around in the spring, and then in the fall, if he doesn't start, then he leaves. I think he knows if he picks Georgia that it'll be a process of growing, of getting better in practice, going against these first rounders on defense every day, getting better, and then hope to start down the line. Lance, can you hear Roddy?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
Sorry. I was trying to figure out how to get this turned on without
I was waiting on one of us to say.
Okay. I was wondering, I was like, I thought I heard a little something.
Now, see, when I try to bring in his video that he's got on Instagram and I turn the volume down, it's turning it down on me too. So it's like I'm trying to keep me and keep his volume down so that we can watch his video because he's live on Instagram here. But the muting ability of Instagram Live on a browser is not great. So anyway, if you'll just keep an eye on it, let us know what's happening back there. Shout out to Phil Rogers, Mike Dennis. Hey, Mike, you were actually up there. Should have taken a bag with you. Come, or wait, maybe Mike did take a bag up there, and that's why Georgia's getting him. I think Mike might be lying there.
We'll find out here in a few minutes.
We're trying to stream it Twins the Hedges, but if we do, then that's all you can hear. You can't hear anything else. So maybe we'll add it when it's getting close.
Lance, to the point you brought up a minute ago, all the visits he's taken to Athens have been unofficial. You said, you got to arrange your own flight or drive or hotels, all that kind of stuff. That's on your own dime. And I was looking at some old stories the other day. Georgia offers him in April 2022. He visits in June and makes 2 game day visits in the fall. So you put together 3 unofficial visits to Athens in a, say an 8-month period, all on your own dime, and 2 of them in the fall when you've got your own games going on Friday night. So definitely a level of interest that has been really high going back for, 2 years. Pretty much. Todd Monken went up there in, I think, April or May of 22 and offered him after seeing him throw. And ever since, Todd Monken was very high on him. Mike Bobo's kept that relationship going, and it's, Georgia is now we've gotten to the point where it's time to decide. And as Trent or Roddy, one of y'all mentioned last night or the other night, it's a little bit later than normal in the process for a quarterback to be committing, and I think it could be what could be a factor is he was kept waiting to see if that green light from Georgia ever came, and we think it might have this week. And we will we'll see if it proves to be enough to land his commitment here in a couple minutes. But definitely a guy that that Georgia has had on the radar for a long time. Kirby Smart's built a great relationship with him. More tee times. Oh, $50 from Evan Grimes. What a hero.
Holy crap.
Wow. Boy, let's see. 3 o'clock. We can get done with this about 3:30.
Hey, you keep your ass good work.
It'd be close. Maybe tomorrow. But
Thanks, Evan. Seriously.
Yeah. Thank you a ton. Here we go. We got some movement. On the live stream. Let's see. We got little sister picking up the phone. This is
all for that.
Here we go.
So with that being said, for the next 3 to 5 years, I will be committed to the University of.
Oh, y'all are. Wait,
hold on.
I'm ahead of y'all.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy.
Do I turn?
Georgia. You got a dog.
Bulldog. A live dog sighting.
Well, there you go.
He didn't get
go
the
ahead and launch the
Bulldogs
score
like I
there.
did.
Jed.
Yep, I'm on it.
Go dogs.
Jed, dog. What a good puppy. Look at that bulldog.
Good job, baby. Good job, baby. Good job.
I don't know if they're saying good job to Ryan.
Good job.
Or if they're saying good job to the dog.
I'm so excited.
Thank you, Ryan, and congratulations to you, your family, friends, and teammates.
Turn that off real quick so I can actually hear. Big news for Georgia. Jed is tweeting out the story right now. So if you would, please share the story amongst all the people who are not with us, people that didn't get to see it. We appreciate you doing that. Georgia gets a big-time quarterback, and I know everyone's like, well, they went after Matt Zollers. Yeah, Matt Zollers is a good quarterback. Juju Lewis is a big quarterback. Ryan Montgomery is a big quarterback. The Bulldogs are going to be happy with that commitment. Now, the question is that the only one? Do they still continue to go after Juju Lewis? Lance, give me your thoughts.
They'd be crazy not to. Of course they're going to go after Juju Lewis. That's one of these guys that's, I think, a generational quarterback. And I think one day, I remember Trent one day saying on Rumors vs. Facts, he's going to win the Heisman one day, no matter where he ends up, I think. And, going back to the Rick era, I don't think he's going to end up at Clemson, but you don't want Trevor Lawrence. You don't want Deshaun Watson, two great quarterbacks leaving the state of Georgia again. So I definitely think that they're definitely going to keep pursuing Juju Lewis until the ink is dry.
All right, Jed, your thoughts?
I fully expect Georgia to, like you said, continue going after Julian Lewis. I mean, you're stupid not to. And I would feel pretty confident in saying that was expressed to the Montgomery family before this decision was made. But again, you don't want to be left holding the bag, I guess, for lack of a better term at the end of this, because there is a very real scenario where, listen, if they, because Ryan Montgomery was planning to commit in June anyway, and I think
that's a good point. It's only a month and a half early,
right? So I think there is, and there was, I guess, a real scenario where you keep slow playing Ryan Montgomery, and he says, "Okay, well, screw you guys. I'm going to go to Florida and South Carolina, two places that have been prioritizing him for a long part of this process." But I think Georgia made the decision that I would have made, which is say, look, Montgomery wants to be here. He's a very talented player. Let's take him. We're going to give him the green light. We're going to, it reminds me a lot of the Puglisi and Raiola scenario. You take Ryan Puglisi, he's a very good player, a guy that wants to be here, and you still leave room for that, I guess, one or two other guys in this class you would recruit, and Julian Lewis certainly falls into that category. So that being said, for those who aren't regular viewers of Rumors versus Facts, I have been saying that I don't think Julian Lewis ends up at Georgia. I just don't see it. Can't talk myself into it. But Georgia's not going to give up, and they shouldn't give up. He's a very good player. There's obviously a strong relationship there with Kirby, Bobo, whoever. But I think now you got a guy that's a very good player, wants to be here. is willing to stick it out, and you can still A, pursue Julian Lewis, B, pursue a transfer portal quarterback, whether it's in this current window or after the 24 season gets done.
I see Ryan Montgomery as Ryan Puglisi. Different quarterbacks, same name, but same mindset coming in. Look, Ryan Puglisi knew that they were going after Dylan Raiola, and they got him.
Yep.
Did he waver? Did he flip? No. He's like, look, they need quarterbacks. They don't have enough. I'm going to have to fight for it. You can't go to a top school and not have a battle at your position. There's no defensive tackle that comes in and has a road paved out for him. Right now, Georgia's got 3 really, really good cornerbacks, possibly 4 or 5, but 3 definite starters, and you got 2 spots. You're going to have the same thing with the quarterback. You're only playing 1 quarterback at a time. Kirby wants 4 on scholarship. You're going to have to battle those guys if you want to be the starter. You're going to have to come in and win it. So that's kind of what you're looking at. So for Ryan, it's like if getting his commitment was Georgia has to give up on Juju, like, well, I'm not going to commit to you if you're going to try to get him. I don't want him.
Yep.
I felt the same way with Matt Zollers. You know, well, they're only, he said that they were only going to take 1. If that's the condition, Kirby Smart's going to let you dictate conditions of commitment. I mean, it's not how it works. I mean, even if Justice Terry, Elijah Griffin, David Sanders says, well, if you take me, you can only take 1 other guy or no other guys in my position. Bull crap. Kirby's going to put the good of his team ahead of the good of the individual kid.
I don't think Kirby Smart is going to let any recruit necessarily dictate what they will do at a position.
Exactly.
It's going to be about what's best for the team. And if you're Ryan Montgomery, what's the difference between Julian Lewis coming in or a transfer coming in? I mean, it's still competition either way. You're going to have to beat out talented guys.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that the difference is too much at that.
Bobby's got a good thing here saying 1 quarterback a season is enough. Usually it is, but right now with the transfer portal, you kind of have to over recruit for your numbers. You just have to be ready. Mm-hmm. It's too easy if you just do 1, and then you get 1 guy transfer, now you got to bring in 2. So it can be a little trickier there, you know. Yeah, the dog father says 1 QB is never enough for the portal era. I mean, I don't see this happening, but what if next season you're Ryan Puglisi, you're like, man, Gunner's going to be here 2 more years, and I can go be the starting guy at Florida or Tennessee or Southern Cal, wherever. And all of a sudden he leaves, and you got this huge gap, you know. So it doesn't hurt to have more than 1 guy. And again, Kirby, it's just like he never promises these kids playing time. Why did Bear Alexander leave? He went through spring practice and he wanted promises that he would get X amount of playing time. And he says that Georgia did not live up to that, even though they told him, look, with all the guys we lost in the NFL, you're going to get a ton of playing time. You're running with the 1s, you know, in this package, you're running with the 2s here. You're our guy. He goes, that's not good enough. He goes to USC. You can't be held hostage like that. So even for all of their positions in practice, Kirby Smart has competition. So you're going to have the same thing pop up with a quarterback. So to your point, long-winded answer, I don't think that Ryan Puglisi is scared of the competition. This kid is going head-to-head. And you just got to think about how bad if you're Florida or South Carolina, the 2 other teams that were kind of in the running there, you wanted him more than anybody.
Yeah.
You needed him more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming to a loaded Georgia team. You're like, man, come on. We don't have shit. Come here. Be our guy. And he's like, no, I still want to go to Georgia. That's a kick in the nuts. I know you guys feel bad about for Florida and South Carolina. I could see the sadness in all the comments there. How torn up. I know the dog father's just crying for Florida, and Shaheed Huckabee's just, I could see the tears pouring for South Carolina there.
So I've got some highlights from this story from national analyst Greg Smith, who spoke with Ryan the other night. Let's see, just some highlights. I'm just the type of person who hates losing more than I love winning. I want to win at all costs. It's how I've always been. that aspect, being able to compete for national championships year in and year out, having that expectation and winning is definitely a huge part of why I picked Georgia. Talked about
He's Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
He is Kirby Smart, but he's also Mike Bobo.
uh,
If anybody said anything like that, it would be Mike Bobo. I just hate him.
their development is second to none, specifically at the quarterback position. They're going to develop you as a great player, but also as a good person. That's pretty important to me, and they're going to compete for national championships year in and year out and practice against the best each and every day. We mentioned Kirby Smart holding the microphone, screaming at people at practice to hold them accountable. They're trying to get the best out of each and every player. That's exactly why I want to go to Georgia, because I know they're going to get the best out of me each and every day. Some kids might shy away from that competition or the intensity of those practices, but for me, I know that's going to help me for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some good stuff about how Athens is a college town. He says, I really love campus, how everything is right there on campus. It reminds me where my parents went. My parents went to Miami of Ohio. It kind of reminds them and me of Miami, Ohio, but on steroids. So that's a good one.
Hey,
sure.
how often does Georgia get a kid out of Ohio?
Well, per research extraordinaire Patrick Garvin, this assuming Ryan Montgomery signs with Georgia, which we have no reason to expect he wouldn't, this would be Georgia's first signee from the state of Ohio since the early 90s. So they play good football in Ohio. I mean,
They do, which blows my mind.
They have good players from up there. And listen, Ryan's brother Luke is at Ohio State right now. So there's good bloodlines there, and that's why a lot of people thought earlier in this recruitment that it might be an Ohio State lock, and it never really seemed to be the case. And then eventually Ohio State just kind of faded from the picture altogether. So, Georgia has always been a constant, I would say, in this recruitment, and the steady, the steadiness of it throughout kept them as a favorite for Ryan for sure. And then eventually Georgia has decided to bring him on board.
This is, to me, a classic situation of, I don't want to call it a slow play, but it's like, look, this is an important call.
Yeah.
You've got extra room at cornerbacks, defensive line. You can take a gamble on a running back because you're going to sign 2 a year sometimes. You can take a gamble on an offensive lineman. Georgia signed 6. There's no way all 6 of them are starters last year. 1 or 2 of them just might not pan out, might hit the portal, may do something else. But if you can get 3 per year, then that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Quarterback, and again, they get all the clicks, and you see all these people, there's a lot of people in our industry that make their money based on clicks. That's why when they write a story, they won't just tweet out, hey, Georgia versus South Carolina is at 3:30 on CBS. They have to announce the Georgia-South Carolina game time has been announced. You won't believe it. And you have to click on it to find out what it is instead of just retweeting it. So there are a lot of hyperbolic stories about quarterbacks because they get a lot of clicks. To be fair, though, a lot of the times the recruiting quarterbacks is such a big freaking deal because how your quarterback goes is often how your team goes. I mean, hell, FSU was kept out of the playoffs because they're like, your quarterback's, without your quarterback, we're not even going to let you attempt to win a championship. You're bad about it. So be it. My point is, this is one that's the Mike Bobo, Kirby Smart, the entire offensive staff, hell, the entire staff in general is like, hey, look, they're not 50 quarterback offers out there. How many guys did they offer total?
You don't offer a ton of quarterbacks. I mean, I think at other positions you throw out you throw a ton of offers out there and only X amount are committable. You offer guys to get come in camp. There's a million different reasons, but especially quarterbacks.
Hey, you have an offer, but you have to come to camp.
Exactly.
Eugene Hilton was ready to commit to Georgia. They're like, we want to see you camp.
So but at quarterback, especially, I mean, the Georgia offer 2 years ago might have been hey, we're going to offer and come down and camp. But quarterback offers, especially with guys like Todd Monken and Mike Bobo, are guys that know what they're doing. I mean, last year, for example, Bobo offered Deuce Knight, who is now committed to, I think, Notre Dame, and he's like a top 100 player. And this is before his recruitment really took off. So, when these offers go out, especially at this position, it's one that you pay a lot of attention to. And again, this is a guy that Georgia's had on their radar for a long time, and they finally felt comfortable taking his commitment. And once he got, and again, he was supposed to commit in early May. That's kind of the timeline we were working with. And then it comes out on Monday that he's got an announcement set for today, and so that makes you wonder, okay, what would be the reason to push your commitment up 2 weeks, other than Georgia gave you the green light and you're going to jump on it? So that timing really kind of raised eyebrows at first, and we were checking around on Monday, and the more we asked around, the more and more we kind of felt like, yeah, this is one that has finally turned in the Montgomery's favor, I guess, if you want to call it that way, of getting the light to go ahead and commit.
I never got the feeling that this is a kid who's like, well, I'll commit here until something else better pops up.
Correct.
I think.
And again, I mean, we're talking about what he's done. I mean, there was a plan to commit in like February at one point. I mean, the timeline has moved around a good bit over the past few months, and I think a lot of it has been, we're going to keep, Georgia's not giving up on this relationship. We're not going to give up on it either, and we're just going to see how it goes, how it progresses, and see if Georgia gives the green light at some point, and ultimately they did. So, big day for the Montgomerys and a big day for Georgia, getting a guy who wants to be here and wants to come in and compete in that 25 class.
The Dogfather South Carolina fans are crying on Twitter saying we only offered him a few days ago.
Incorrect. It would be here. I actually put it in my story. Let's see.
The Dogfather is he's a great follow on TikTok. He's got some screenshots of, or should have taken some screenshots of sad UF fans for TikTok.
And listen, you want to talk about a guy who's had Georgia on his radar for a while. This quote is from 2 years ago. They're a winning program. That's the most important part. They win games. Obviously, they're defending national champions. So who wouldn't want to go play for a team like that, especially a team with the athletes they have, the athletes you can surround yourself with as a quarterback? So, I mean, playing at a school like Georgia would be a dream come true. That was 2 years ago. And Georgia has just maintained that. Monken, 8 or 9 months. He went to the NFL. Mike Bobo took it over. And there's a visit. The Montgomerys visited last April, and spent time with Bobo. I mean, he mentions it in here. He called Todd Monken's departure devastating. But Mike Bobo did enough on that visit to shoot Georgia right back to the top, towards the top anyway. And they kept the relationship going over the past year. Took a couple more visits. Visited this spring. I want to say it was that first weekend of spring practice. And again, I felt for a while, once, if and when he got the go ahead to commit, he would. And it seems like it's played out pretty much exactly like that. Georgia gave him the go ahead, presumably over the past maybe week or so, and he decided to jump on it and go ahead and do it. No need to wait anymore.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to point out too. Roddy mentioned, you come on the show the other night and mentioned this past. If you come to Georgia, he's a highly rated quarterback. You don't have to be Superman to win a national championship. I mean, look what Stetson Bennett did with all the talent around him. Of course, he developed over his career, but I mean, he's got all this talent around him. He's going to have a great offensive line. Georgia is always going to have great skill players, no matter where they get it from the portal. They get it, through developing their high school recruits or anything else like that. And, he's going to have the tools when he gets there. And he might have not had those things at Florida and South Carolina.
To your point, I was interviewing Anthony Rogers, the running back commit to Alabama. And we were in Nashville, and I said, you're committed to Alabama. You're still kind of looking around. Why? What are the chances? He said, well, I'm committed, but I still want to make sure I made the right decision for myself. Fair. Georgia kids do that all the time. Hell, Justice Terry did it when he went out to USC. He's like, this is where I want to go. But and it's kind of what Georgia was doing. Hey, we want Juju, but we'll look around. Hey, we found Matt Zollers. We like him. We've been following Ryan Montgomery for 2 years. We like him. Juju is our number one guy, no question. And we're going to still try to get him, but got to have more than one. So I'm talking to Anthony Rogers, and I said, what's going into your decision when you're trying to find out what's best for you? And he's like, what is the rest of the team like? What am I surrounding myself with? And I said, I guess that would apply to the offensive line. And he goes, yeah, do they have a good offensive line? I'm a running back. Okay. And then I kind of put him on the spot. I'm like, well, then who has the best offensive lines? He's like, man, don't do that to me. Don't get me in trouble. Jed, you heard the audio. He's like, don't do that. But he said, okay. And he mentioned, there's all these different schools, but like Georgia and Alabama, they got the best offensive lines. If you're Ryan Montgomery, you're looking at guys you can throw to. You saw Sokobe White and Nitro Tuggle with back-to-back big plays. Sokobe White, Nitro Tuggle gets this huge pass, catches it, moving down the field. The next pass comes to Sokobe White. Nitro Tuggle lays a devastating block. Sokobe White scores, and you're like, man, I could be playing with those guys next year. I could be throwing to them. I could be playing behind Jamal Merriweather, on the right side. I got Ernest Green over here on the left. I've got the fastest center in the country at, snapping me the ball. Just that 5 guys they signed last year, plus the offensive line guys are signing this year. And he's like, look, I got tight ends galore to throw to. I can go to Georgia. And in his quotes there, I hate losing more than I love winning. That is a Mike Bowo, Kirby Smart, Xerox machine copy. So to your point, Lance, you surround yourself with the best players and you develop, and you're not running for your life. We were looking at some of the guys that are in the transfer portal right now. And I'm like, man, this kid got sacked 14 times, in the 3 games he played in, or not quite that bad, but there's no offensive line there. Trevor Etienne has a great system set up in Florida, could be the man, but he's like, I can run behind this Georgia offensive line. I'm going to go up there, show folks what I can do. So it's going to be fun to watch what Ryan Montgomery does in Athens. So I guess what is the future starting quarterbacks? How does it line up, Jed? We're going to go next year. Got Gunnar Stockton, 1 year, 2 years of him, and then Ryan Puglisi.
I mean, it's either going to be Gunnar Stockton or it'll be a transfer guy, I think. And I don't know that decision necessarily been made yet. I think if you're Kirby Smart, you evaluate Gunnar Stockton the spring, obviously this summer, what he shows you on the field this fall, whatever action he gets. And then when you get to December, because again, with the portal and like how the calendar is, you're going to need to know before you get into, assuming Georgia is in the playoff, what your plan is going to be. So I think it's going to be a constant evaluation. I think let's see, what year is it now? 24, 25, you will have either Gunner or a portal guy. And then I think 26, you'll have Puglisi. I don't know.
It'll be Ryan.
I don't know. But again, now you've set yourself up to where you've got depth in the room. You've got guys you can develop. If they don't work out, and let's not forget, Jared Curtis is already on board for 26 as well.
He'll be the starter in 26.
So however it works out, you've got talented guys lined up to add to the room, and you're going to develop them. And it's guys like Puglisi, like Curtis, Gunner, obviously, because he's entering his 3rd spring, I think. You've got guys who are willing to put the time in, learn behind whoever's in front of them, embrace the mentality of getting better in practice every day. And if that whoever rises to the top will have certainly earned it through practice, how they practice, what they've shown in practice, everything like that.
All right, for those just turning in, Greg, Georgia just landed Ryan Montgomery, the 4-star quarterback out of Findlay, Ohio, 10.5 hours from where I'm standing right now. So he is committed to be a Georgia Bulldog in the class of 2025. So they have their 2025 quarterback. They have their 2026 quarterback in Jared Curtis. We have a story up yesterday about Jared Curtis, complete with video from his camp. They'll still go after Juju Lewis. May not be as public or as obvious, but they're not going to give up on him. So right now the Bulldogs are set at quarterback. And we've got some other stuff that we need to pop up on UGAsports.com. We've got reactions. We've got analysis. We've got all the good stuff there. So we're going to let you all go. head over to UGAsports.com. Check out the stories. A lot of them are free. A lot of content that we put out there free every day. And the stuff that's behind the paywall, well, it's only 27 cents a day. Sign up, and $99 for the year. It's 27 cents. Can't beat that. You'll get more Georgia coverage than you will anywhere else. Hell, we got basketball coverage today. We've got baseball stories. Man, it wouldn't surprise me if we had a UGA hockey team story up there. I mean, there's always fun stuff at UGAsports.com. And we have a couple on the message board. We even have a couple potential transfers that you can look into. Guys that at least Georgia knows about who are in the portal that they either, Kirby says, look, we always want to talk to a kid that we've either recruited or played against. And there's at least a couple of names on the board that you can check out at UGAsports.com. Anyway, for Lance McCurley and Jed May, I'm Ready to Bullseye. We will see you later.